Ladies and gentlemen, it is time for Immaculate Perceptions at Game On Wisconsin. MJ, Joe bringing you 30 to 45 minutes of Packers chaos on this Tuesday evening. Joe, how are you, good sir?
Man, I'm great considering we don't have Bruce in the building. I'm great. No Bruce. That means the inmates are running the asylum. We're free and clear.
We are in charge, which is unfortunate.
Hey, though, honestly, the music though is recording artist TQ. It's a song called Paradise. So that's gonna be the intro and outro music for Immaculate Perceptions. So
yes, the only thing is I need to get it, or me or Bruce needs to get it on an actual video or something like that. Because there's just not really a great way to like fade out.
Oh man,
I did the best that I could, but I was sitting there and I'm like, there's not really a great way to fade out of this, unfortunately. But we are faded in to some Packers talk.
So or just faded.
Well, you may be. Okay. I just got home from work, so I'm not quite there yet. But Joe, how's life doing?
Man, everything's great. You know what? Honestly, I'm super jacked tonight. Big show. Obviously not having Rob on, which Rob was here last week, but I'm excited about this show because I am this much closer to winning our bet. This much closer. And believe me, the first thing I thought of when I found out, and we all found out that David Bakhtiari was off the PUP list, and I thought, be ready by the game against the Bucks because I am on it. I'm on it. Like let's go. And I actually sent you and Bruce a nice little text about that.
Listen. Here's the thing. Listen, we're gonna get into this in a second. We'll talk about it in a minute. First,
this is the real truth. That right there is facts.
Can we use our new 7th round pick to draft a new producer?
Facts.
I don't. Well, Bruce was on a 10-day contract. I think we renewed his 10-day contract. Although his absence at the time being is a knock against his punctuality. But I know
ask me.
I know that the JOB is calling, which I can attest to, which is the reason we're here at 8:30 instead of whenever. But I think he's done a fairly good job.
I like Bruce. I'm just messing with Bruce. Even though he's a Bears fan, he's all right.
We need a new draft pick for whoever deleted our stuff off of StreamYard, Jacob, so that I had to sit here instead of eating my Jimmy John's for 15 minutes, resetting everything. That's what we need a new draft pick for.
Oh, that's great. Goodness. Oh, that's great. Hey, so let's get into some real talk with some real Packer talk right now, MJ. Now, we kind of touched on it when it comes to David Bakhtiari, him being off the physically unable to perform list. How do you feel? Like, do you feel that this is obviously it's a step in the right direction because he's been practicing for consecutive days. Do you are you a little leery about him playing after game 4 because it is time to 69, baby?
Well, Bruce, I keep calling you.
God,
Bruce.
See, you know what? One more time, I'm gonna put my finger through. I'm gonna come out. I'm gonna go down to where you're at, and yeah.
Okay, you need to understand. I've done that show with Bruce for 2 years.
Disrespect,
and you're both bald, so it's hard.
But
for me.
I'm at least handsome.
I look at the screen. I see a bald, handsome man. And I immediately, my brain goes to Bruce. Okay.
Oh,
anyway,
that's great.
Joe, you dashing, beautiful, gorgeous human being.
Okay.
I'm gonna butter you up as much as I can.
Yeah, make up for it. That's good.
It is time to 69, and I think the Green Bay Packers realize how much it is time to 69 because they took him off the PUP list, and there's no restrictions in how much the Green Bay Packers offense is going to 69 when it comes to the beginning of this year. I'm going to take that as far as I can. However, I'm really not worried for the most part because I think if the Green Bay Packers didn't believe David Bakhtiari was ready, they wouldn't take him off of that list. Whenever he steps onto the field, I believe he will be ready as fully as he can be. Whether that is week 1, week 3, whenever it is, we'll get to that when we get to that. But This means he's going to be on the roster to start the year. He's going to be on the 53, is my belief. And it makes it a lot easier for them to progress him into practice. It makes sense, assuming he's healthy. Given the
Well,
fact that this isn't an ACL issue anymore, this is more of a logical progression. Honestly think it was a bigger deal for Elton Jenkins to come off of the PUP list so early than it was for Bakhtiari. I think this should be more expected. This should be more the expected track for Bakhtiari. So this should be more of good, thumbs up. We're following what we somewhat believed would happen in terms of his growth.
Well, I look at it like this: when it comes to Bakhtiari coming back, I think Green Bay realizes that game against the Buccaneers is way more important early on than what anybody's realizing. I think that is going to be the target date because with
Fair.
all of the Buccaneers issues up front, you know what I mean, with their offensive linemen going down, with Brady now having to deal with real life drama, having his wife demanding more time and leaving camp. Honestly, I think all that stuff, comes into play. I really believe that that's the game that is circled on the calendar because I think that I don't want to say it's a must-win game, but I think it's a game that they definitely need to win early on because, just like in the last few years, they want to have home field advantage in the playoffs.
Right.
You want to have that. And I think with the way this team is currently constructed, the offense will get better as the season goes on. But the defense, I'm expecting to come in and play lights out. And as the offense gets better, I think that's going to go hand in hand with 69 getting better as the year goes on and getting healthier.
Practice makes perfect when it comes to 69, Joe. But
always. And know what? And I'll say this. I was going to say this before you get to that. This segment is dedicated to Aaron
yes.
Elise, because she would love it right now. And I should, like, honest to God,
this is all for her.
Yes.
And Bernard, there are many things I love on this earth. 69 being one of them. Tom Brady is at the bottom of that list. Okay. Tom Brady is such a terrible leader that he walks away from his team. He retires, comes back, walks away from the team to go do Masked Singer. I don't know if you saw that theory on Reddit.
I did, and
it was kind of funny.
I think it's great. I hope it's true.
I hope it is too, because that would just be so stupid. Either way, really, you just step away from the team for months. Whatever. This is a Packer show, not a Tom Brady show. I just had to acknowledge that since Bernard tried to fire me up. True Packers fan North makes a good point. Kylan Hill staying on the PUP list. I honestly think whenever Hill comes back, he'll be dynamic. I have no qualms about that. However, it does open up that third running back spot, which a lot of nerds are into. So that'll be something to watch in the last game against Kansas City. But I think he's correct.
Kenyon Drake is out there. Kenyon Drake is out there.
Joe, I'll leave that to you. Do you think that? Do you think it's a possibility? Because I know that he was in Vegas.
No, I don't think it's a possibility.
No,
no, I don't. I was actually at the practice today and talked to a couple of people with them, and I don't think that there's a possibility of that. But that third running back is open, and I wish and honestly, I wish there was a fourth running back. Because your first two, I think Goodson's a lock to make the team. To be honest, I wish there was a tight end spot open because Tyler Davis sucks. He is the absolute worst player on the roster. He's trash. I could find a street tight end somewhere here in Vegas that's better than that dude. He is horrendous.
Bruce is probably better.
Arguably. Look, Jeff Janis is better than him, okay?
Whoa.
Jeff Janis is better than that cat.
Whoa.
And he don't deserve to wear number 84. Get him the hell off the roster. What naked pictures of Goody and LaFleur or even the old blankety blank that's the CEO of the team right now. Everybody knows I can't stand him. What naked pictures does he have of them? That's the question. Tyler Davis is trash. I don't. You get a text from me every week about how bad this dude is. Do you not?
So first of all, I would just like the record to show that at 8:40 p.m. Central Time on Tuesday, August 23rd of 2022, Joe actually looked me in the eyes. He stared me in the soul and said he would rather have Jeff Janis than Tyler Davis. And let's remind everybody watching that Joe actually got upset at me for mentioning Jeff Janis last week.
Yep.
Because we apparently had an agreement that I don't remember not to mention his name on this show. And here we are saying he would rather have Jeff Janis than Tyler Davis.
I would rather have a bag of rocks filled with, you pick the word, snakes than have Tyler Davis on the team.
A bag of rocks filled with snakes.
Yeah. Snakes bite and rocks hurt when they hit you. So, I mean, yeah, like I'm sorry. It's Kobe Bryant's birthday. I'm throwing some snakes in there when I can. So I say, I say that at the, like really Tyler Davis. And I'm sorry. I'm sorry that I'm not sorry. You watched that first game, the preseason game against the 49ers. He misses a downhill block. He drops a ball that ends up being an interception, and he drops another pass. Last week, again, mistakes that he makes. I think he jumped off sides and he get another drop. The dude he's just not, for whatever reason, he's not a good fit for what they're doing. I don't see why he's on the team. You have DeGuara, Tunyon's back. You got Big Dog. You could go get another tight. And Daphne's gone. I thought they released Daphne.
Did they?
Yeah, I thought they released Daphne. So I don't think.
Oh yeah, they did.
Yeah, so I don't think he's back. But I don't see the big deal with this dude. I don't know what it is. He doesn't perform in games. Get rid of him while you can. Like really, you can find another guy that's going to be off the street. From anybody at this point. I mean, hell, when Devin Funchess gets cut by the Lions, bring him back as a tight end, as far as I'm concerned.
Wow. Anyway, we're going to transition from that very professional, very appropriate segment.
Was that supposed to be professional?
Joe, Packers got a huge D.
Oh, man. Another Aaron Elise sponsored, dedicated segment. You know what?
And
yes.
Joe, you've been on record on this show saying it might be as big as it's been since the 90s. And that says a lot. In 30 years of experience, that, this might be the biggest D you've ever seen coming out of Green Bay.
The best D, too. The best D coming out of Green Bay.
Okay, and Joe, tell me exactly why that is. 2 preseason games in.
It's the blue pill D, baby. Let me tell you. So we're already off the rails. No, honestly,
got me.
I look at this. I look at the team, right? I look at the defensive line, and they got some real dudes up front. And with Wyatt not being a guy that's making a lot of noise right now, that for me, I'm thinking that's something down the road. He is definitely going to be an impactful player because the guys in front of him are just playing that much better. Slayton is playing well. Rob talked about it last week with us. He brought the fact that D line, there's some that's a strong,
it's a legitimate front. Yeah,
exactly. And Kenny, and all I can do is make Kenny Clark that much better. Jerron Reed is another one. I know he had an injury today. With an arm injury. I don't know how bad it is, or if he came back. I didn't see any updates, but I really like that line up front. And then I look at the linebackers, and while we haven't seen Quay Walker be impactful and explosive in games, that's okay. Because I don't think they want to show too much. I think they're playing a lot of vanilla stuff. I think Joe Barry's playing a lot of vanilla stuff. And then I look at the secondary. I'm not even going to talk about Jacob's son, Rashawn Gary, because he's going to be an all-pro. I think I think, again, if we're going to do over-unders for sacks, 16.5, what is it for Rashawn this year?
Wow.
We'll get
to that later.
And then I think Preston, I know it's every other year. I think Preston's going to have a big year this year. But I look at that secondary, and I don't think it's close. I think it's the best secondary in the NFL. I'm not saying it to be a homer. I'm not saying it to I really, with Jair Alexander, who I think anybody that knows me knows that Jair is not only is he a frat brother, he's also, to me, he's been that guy for a few years now. with Eric Stokes, who gets thrown to the fire as a rookie and really is cute is CB1 last year, plays extremely well. And then Rasul comes in, and Rasul, Aaron Rodgers said he reminds him a lot of Charles Woodson from the way he plays.
His huge compliment.
Exactly. And you got him. And then, Keyshawn Nixon comes in. I think Keyshawn's already locked up the dime spot. And Key's another guy that's got a dog in him. And then, the safeties with Savage and Amos, that's a great combo. They complement each other. That secondary is ridiculous. And then you got Vondre. And Vondre gonna knock your whatever in the dirt. That defense is ready to go. I think they're primed. And I think all it's going to do is help the offense as the season goes on, because at this point, with the offense being a little bit further behind, the defense is going to have to carry them, but the defense is going to push the offense to be better, which I think, MJ, is going to push Aaron Rodgers to be better.
Joe, good question here. How good will the D actually be if D and C take a step back?
First of all, don't you wish that evil on me, Ricky Bobby?
I get that reference. I
hope so.
I may be young, but I'm not that dumb.
What's a step back? I mean, do I expect Rasul to have 5 picks, 6, 7, 8 picks, to 3 of them return for touchdowns? No. Like, just be realistic. 3 picks, yeah. But lockdown D, being able to move around, maybe play a little safety, give different looks. I like that. And Vondre, all he's got to do was lead. And let's be real. When Arizona cut him, it's not because he had a bad year. They just went a different direction.
Right.
They had Isaiah Simmons, or they have Isaiah Simmons. He comes here, they get him as a street free agent, and he balls out. And he was good in Atlanta too. So it's just that he found the right defense in the right home. It's not always about, and it's the same thing with Rasul. When he was out here in Vegas, I would talk to him where he would train, and the fit just wasn't necessarily there with the Raiders. And sometimes it's not about where you go in terms of like your ability. It's about, where you go in terms of fit. If you're a circle, you need to go in a circle hole. If you're a square, you need to go into a square hole. That's just what it is. What do you think, though? What do you think is how good would the defense be to take a step back?
Realistically, yes, they may take a step back, but there is also a little bit more leeway. And again, it depends on injuries. But, Rasul can take a step back because he has Jair back. So he doesn't have to be the guy. He's not the veteran leading a rookie Eric Stokes anymore, because Stokes also has a year under his belt. So there's that. Devondre Campbell, he gets to be the true leader of the defense. He doesn't have to be the one running all over the field, because Quay Walker can run all over the field. So I think there's a little bit more leeway. Obviously, the Packers defense isn't the most they don't have the best depth in the NFL. Everybody knows that, but they still have more depth than they did last year in terms of top end talent. So I think there's still just a little bit more leeway. Again, let's say, Rasul has 2 or 3 picks instead of 5 or 6. Devondre has 100 tackles instead of 120 plus. That may be a regression. They may not be all Pro Bowl level, but I think the defense as a whole, now that I can see Joe's beautiful face, I think the defense as a whole will actually be better than they were last year, and that's what's important. I'm not so much looking at individual numbers when it comes to, I'm looking more at yards, I'm looking more at points allowed, things like that.
Exactly. And I want to see them be able to hold opponents under, like, honestly, and it sounds crazy, but like under 17 points a game. And I think that's huge, but I think they have the potential for that, especially in that division. I don't think that division, I'm not really concerned about the Bears. I'm just going to, I'm not trying to be funny. Well, no, I'm just saying I'm not trying to be funny. Vikings, to me, you got 2 guys you really got to watch out for, and that's Justin Jefferson and Cook. Those are the 2 guys that I'm really, like, on that team I'm concerned about.
Yeah. They can blow up a game.
They can. And then with Detroit, I think I said this before, and you guys thought I was crazy. I think Detroit's the sneaky team in the division, but I still think they're a year away. I don't think,
Right.
I don't think Goff's the guy. So I think they need that when they recalibrate that position. I think overall they'll be better there. But at the same time, I mean, if your defense is giving up 17, you just got to score 20. Can I count to 11? Barely.
I can't even count to 11 in English.
I can in Spanish sometimes.
I don't believe it. Best linebacker core in decades, for sure. That's not even, and no, that's no offense to Clay Matthews and Desmond Bishop or AJ Hawk and
Frank Zombo.
Right, like no offense to those
Nick
guys,
Berry.
but
come on, let's
right.
Hey, that 96
come
team
up with some of the names because they're so obscure.
That 96 team: Wayne Simmons, Brian Williams, George Kuntz. That was the three. Those are the three backers,
right?
I mean, Reggie White was just different. I mean, obviously he's on the down on the line. Same thing with Sean Jones.
Different,
but I mean, this probably is the best lineman. And look, I love AJ. Let me rephrase that. I really liked AJ Hawk. He was a very good player. I'm gonna throw out an old name. I'm gonna date myself.
Oh gosh,
AJ Hawk is this generation's Brian Noble. Brian Noble in the late 80s and 90s. Brian Noble was a linebacker that would get a lot of tackles, but it was on the other side of the line of scrimmage. It wasn't impactful tackles, for loss or whatever. But he was a good very good player. And he damn near was traded for Marcus Allen. The deal was agreed upon until Al Davis backed out. But you didn't know that. Or did you know that?
I did not know that.
Yeah, Google it. I think the story's out there now. But when that's who AJ Hawk was. And for me, if you're a 5th overall pick, you need to be more impactful than that. Right. Clay did a great job, except he didn't do a great job containing the outside against RPOs. He was god awful at it, but he was
just wanted his sacks.
Yeah, and you know what? And sometimes that you got to have someone spill down behind you, and that I don't know if they didn't do that or whatever. Ron Cox was on that Super Bowl team too. Desmond Bishop was a middle of the inside linebacker thumper, but couldn't cover. And then Frank Zombo had the one good year. Nah, bro. AJ Hawk's better than Blake Martinez.
Sure. I hated Blake Martinez. I love bringing up how bad of a linebacker he was because he got paid for no reason, and it was hilarious.
Blake Martinez or Tyler Davis, whatever. I don't even know it was Tyler Davis or Blake Martinez.
Who's worse? Tyler
Davis.
Okay. For sure.
Making sure.
He never even put up fake numbers. He just sucks. But anyway, enough talking about
first cut in the new Madden, Tyler Davis. First cut.
You're so cruel.
Bro, oh man, I may trade him to Minnesota.
You're so cruel. Why would you do that to him? Why would you make him receive throws from Kirk Cousins?
Because I'm gonna tell you why.
On the field anyway, but
because I had to live in personal hell Saturday. I went to watch the UFC fight, and on the TV, it was my personal hell. Minnesota versus San Francisco preseason game on TV. I was stuck. I'm like, are you kidding me? It's like the 8th dimension of hell. It's okay to laugh, MJ.
No, I'm just trying to get the taste of Minnesota and San Francisco off my tongue.
Exactly.
Thankfully, though, we have a pretty good preseason game to talk about. Packers took down the Saints at home. We had some great moments in this game. Big run by Danny Etling. A lot of good things from Jordan Love, which I want to talk about in a little bit. But Joe, just give me your biggest takeaway. What impressed you the most from the Packers? What can we be excited about after watching that game? I don't know how much of it you actually got to watch.
I recorded it, and so we cover high school football out here, and after that we do a recap show, and we have the winning coach, and Bishop Gorman had the game of the week. They have it again this week. They play Mater Dei, and the 2 top 5 teams in the country basically playing for a national championship this week. I got home late, but I recorded it, or I caught the late showing on NFL Network, and and I'm going to piss some people off with what I say, maybe even Jacob, but I don't care. Jordan Love is going to be a damn good quarterback. Like, there's some, like, I like Colin Cowherd, but I totally disagree with what he said, is him being a bust. Look, the reality is this: Jordan Love gets no help from some of these receivers. And
yeah.
and he makes, he's taken 2 steps from where he was a couple years ago. And we have to be honest with his assessment. His rookie year, there was no rookie training camp. There was no OTAs. There was no training
a rookie year
at all. So, like, basically you're just kind of like, hey, this is our first round pick quarterback. He's not going to play. So just go to the clipboard and, be that the guy, the coffee getter and whatnot. And then he took the step last year. He took a big step. And I talked to somebody with the team and they're like, look, Jordan Love's the real deal, Joe. He really is the real deal. And then this year, you just seen the light switch go on. It seems like it's like, okay, Jordan Love, he's going to be okay. He just needs to get on the field and get reps. And look, we've seen this with 12 over a decade ago.
Yeah.
It just takes some time. And I think Jordan Love will be just fine. And he makes some throws. And look, and Romeo Dobbs as well. Dobbs, look, I got my conductor hat with Romeo. Romeo, wherefore art thou, Romeo? Right? There was 2 routes that stood out to me. One of which, it was like the outside receiver ran a sail route, which can become like a little post, and then Dobbs kind of ran a fade. But depending on the secondary, either if they're playing a cover 3 look, obviously the corner's peeking in, you got to kind of break that off into like an out route. And he did that, and it was a good little comeback. Jordan Love threw a dime to him. They were on the same page, and he made the catch. It was a perfect throw and catch. Another one was just a deep route. He got in the seam and went. Love is going to be fine. Dobbs is going to be fine, and they're getting healthy. And that, to me, is the most important. That's what I took away, MJ. What did you take away?
I took away this, Joe. I took away rolling out, falling away, no balance whatsoever, a dot that by all reality should have been caught in the corner of the end zone for a touchdown. That was the throw that I saw, Joe, the other night, where I turned around, I looked to my wife, and I said, Jordan Love is going to be the 4th best quarterback to ever put on a Packers uniform.
Ooh.
Now, I'm never going to
cojones on that.
He's going to be better than the big 3. Star, Favre, and Rodgers. That's a bold accusation to say that. But I wholeheartedly believe that Jordan Love has the talent and he has the capability to be the 4th best quarterback that the Green Bay Packers have ever had. And I don't think that's a bold thing to say after watching that game.
Let me ask a question off that now. See, now you got me in a serious journalistic mode.
Yes.
Okay. Let's say hypothetically, Jordan Love ends up winning 3 Super Bowls. Doesn't have the numbers that Rodgers has. Didn't resurrect the franchise like Favre, and obviously doesn't have the sheer number of titles that Bart Starr had. But three titles. Where would you rank him then? He's got more Super Bowls than he would have more Super Bowls than Favre and Rodgers combined. Yeah. And more than Starr.
Are we talking about just Packers quarterbacks?
Yeah, I'm not talking about anybody else. Just the Packers quarterbacks.
Okay. I'm going to get some people who are going to probably be mad at me for this because this is going to be different than how I rank quarterbacks in a normal setting. And I will preface this with that. But I think if Jordan Love wins 3 championships, he's the 2nd greatest Packers quarterback ever.
Behind?
Bart Starr. Joe, I believe when it comes to for a specific team, whenever I have like the Brady Rodgers debate, I try really hard to take out championships because I think football is a team sport. And so when you're looking at it from a like trying to debate who's the greatest quarterback of all time, you got to look at quarterback numbers. You got to look at, eye test for the quarterback, all that crap. But what I'm looking at from a fan perspective, if you were to tell me that Jordan Love retires, even if he retires a Green Bay Packer with 3 championships, after we've suffered through incredible quarterback talent for the last 40 years that only got us 2 championships, and I say suffered sarcastically.
Okay, what to say?
If Jordan Love brings me 3 championships in the next 10 or 15 years, number 2.
Wow.
And I think Bart
Wow.
Starr wins that debate because he still has the highest postseason passer rating ever. He still has so many records of that realm in the postseason. Only NFL quarterback to win 3 straight championships. There are things like that Bart Starr has done that nobody else has done. When he
Talking
did that in
to
the Packers uniform, he was the one that put the Packers on the map along with Vince Lombardi, obviously.
there's
Marvin
a guy
Rodgers has been incredible, but in terms of Packers legacy, I don't know what Love does around then. But if you're
there's a
just telling
guy.
me he goes out and wins 3,
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. This is just off the titles. There's a guy named Ted Sobel who I worked with in LA, and Ted actually got to know Bart Starr real well. Wrote a book, and Bart signed some
yeah,
stuff for him, everything. Ted says he's the greatest Packers quarterback ever. He goes, Favre and Rodgers arm talent. He goes, Rodgers is the best arm talent and overall, but like if I need a quarter, I want Starr, which he's seen him play. I didn't. So yeah, I'm
yeah,
not that old. Um Another takeaway from the game that I had was the receivers. I know that they're young for the most part. It's the 2 that really in Winfrey, so 3 that are going to be on the team.
right.
But I like the fact that Rodgers kind of said they need to step up. It's time now.
I think it worked.
That's leadership,
Yeah,
honestly. And like a friend of mine said, oh, there goes Rodgers already fed up with the receivers. No, you need that, and
Bruce
that's
said
the
the same
stuff
thing.
that needs. Yeah, I think it may have been Bruce that said it,
Yeah,
and it was like no, that's leadership. You need your quarterback. Are you going to accept mediocrity in anything that you do? Like anything that you do, from if we're doing this show and it's trash, I'm going to tell you, MJ, the show is trash, bro. We need to
right.
change some things. Like in all seriousness, if whatever it is, you need to demand excellence from whoever it is. He did it with Devontae Adams. He did it with Greg Jennings. He did it with James Jones, Jordy Nelson. That's the standard. The standard is the standard. And the
He did it
standard
with
for
Randall Cobb, and Cobb came back at the end of his
exactly.
career.
So the standard is the standard in Green Bay when it comes to receivers. Either you step up or they're going to find someone that does at whatever round it is. And
Yep.
and it looks like Dobbs is stepping up. I mean, he's been the star of the camp. He's probably been the most talked about rookie in the NFL, in all honesty.
Yeah.
And Christian Watson comes back, not only makes a great catch, but Rodgers says he talked to him in the huddle, told him to make this adjustment, and he did it perfectly. And that's how you develop your trust in everything else. But at the end of the day, 100%, that receiving room is going to be fine. And I like the fact that Rodgers took him to task.
Bruce is in the chat saying hi. Apparently he's still at work, but he's somehow able to listen, which I love. Wasn't talking smack at all. I like what Roger said. No, I know that Bruce liked what Roger said. He was trying to get me fired up the other night. And
Yeah,
I
I know.
like what he said as well. What I told Bruce, and I'll tell you the same thing, is this is what you want out of your 2-time reigning MVP quarterback. You want him to show that he cares. You want him to show that he's doing his best. He's not floating it in. He's trying to make this team better. And the only thing Bruce added the other night on Thursday was, and I agree with this, if as long as that wasn't the only way it was addressed, as long as Rodgers said something else, like in the locker room, in a huddle or something like that, and didn't just go after them in the media, then I think it's perfectly good. He's being a leader. Even if he did just do it in the media, that's the way to get at young kids these days. So it is what it is. I don't think that anybody in that locker room is going to hold something against Rodgers for that. And I think really it's targeted at the fringe guys, Amari Rodgers, guys like that. I don't think anybody's really worried about, Watson or Dubs, Lazard, Cobb, guys like that actually, showing up and producing. I think it's like, okay, Amari Rodgers, if you get in the game, need you to produce, bro. Like
what do you make of him? Like I was super high on him coming out. In fact, like Jacob will tell you, I was watching the Senior Bowl with Jacob. Like we
yeah,
were on the phone watching it, and I'm like, he's gonna be a next really good Packer receiver. I said it at the Senior Bowl, and obviously last year was a disappointment. I mean, I think he makes the team just off the draft status alone, at least for another year. But do you think that they maybe move him? Like if they're not happy with him and get something late like they did today by getting a 7th round pick?
I don't think
I mean, because they're
that's
playing
hard
him a
for me
lot.
because I know how much Matt LaFleur wants him to succeed, specifically in that system, because Amari Rodgers could be incredible in the Packers system. It's just hard to break through because now even Watson and Dubs have probably earned Rodgers' trust over Amari Rodgers. And so now you're 5th on that list, which everybody knows how that goes in Green Bay when you don't have Rodgers' trust.
But I mean,
let me put it this way. I don't think Amari Rodgers gets another contract in Green Bay.
oh, I think he might if he has a couple good years and it turns it on, the light switch goes on.
I want to stay consistent with the type of things I say about Jordan Love and others, that I don't want to rip into Amari Rodgers after his first year. But there also is, I did an article recently on like the expectations for Romeo Dubs, looking at like Jennings, Nelson, and Cobb's and Adams' rookie years, and looking at what they did in their rookie years, kind of what that looked like.
You think Dobbs? Okay, so 2 points. One, to put a bow on Rodgers. I think he's got to get more reps in the slot, and because he plays basically solely the slot, versus I know he line him up outside, but like mainly he's a
Right.
slot guy. Watson and Dubs are just different, so like I kind of put him in that same boat with
Correct.
them. And the second thing is, you think Dobbs cracks at least 1,000 yards?
No, I don't. And the reason I say that is because when I looked at like the great Packers receivers that have, exploded during Rodgers' career specifically, because that's the frame I put it in, because Rodgers is the quarterback right now. So you have to look at that. Granted, there is no player with the status of Driver, Jennings, Nelson, Adams that is there right now, but no receiver of that stature that has ever been a receiver under Aaron Rodgers has cracked 350 yards in their rookie year.
Bro, he has that by week 4.
I would be ultimately shocked if Dubs goes over 1,000 yards. I would be floored, because Devontae Adams didn't even get 1,000 yards until year 4.
But that was a loaded room.
The Devontae Adams, not really.
Oh no, that's true. Yeah,
that room
right.
was not loaded.
I stand corrected. I take that
back. He was getting touchdowns, but he didn't break 1,000 yards until I believe his 4th year in the league. So
yeah, because he had that 998 and then 999.
Right.
Yeah.
So I would be shocked, because I'm talking Dubs would be doing something that literally only Sterling Sharp has done.
Sharp didn't catch for 1,000 yards his rookie year.
But I'm talking about, didn't Sharp have an incredible rookie year?
No, for a lot of reasons. I think he had the receptions, and I don't know about yardage, but not the yardage record, but I know reception wise.
Okay. But I'm saying like Dubs would be setting Packers rookie records if he had that type of year. I just don't see that happening, because at the end of the day, he's going to have some deep balls. He's going to have some incredible plays, but he's not going to get the consistent targets over Lazard, over Cobb, over Tunyon, over Jones and Dillon. Like, there are a lot of guys on the target share list ahead of Dubs. It's still going to take time. We have to remember who we're doing with an Aaron Rodgers. Dubs may be higher on the trust list than Winfrey, Amari Rodgers, and some of those guys, but he's still pretty low on that list. And when it comes to Aaron Rodgers, that is very, very important in terms of statistics, because for him to get 1,000 yards, he needs like 100 targets. And I know he's a big play guy. He still needs a lot of targets because he's a rookie.
I'm not disagreeing with that. I just think that there's a different type of quarterback who's got a different type of outlook on things. Now in his 17th, 18th year,
But even look at it last year, Joe. Who did Rodgers go to the majority of the time? Devontae Adams, because he had the best relationship.
And he's trying to get him paid. He's trying to get him paid. Let's be real about it.
Okay, so now he's going to go to the two guys he has the other best relationship with. That's
I'm not
Lazard,
disagreeing. I'm not disagreeing with that. I'm not disagreeing.
I just think it would take the perfect storm for Dubs to get that type of numbers. Don't get me wrong. I put a couple bucks down on him for offensive rookie of the year. Just
see, all you gamblers.
Why not?
All you gamblers.
Oh, I'm a degenerate. It's fine. And he's the best wide receiver in football. Okay, Jacob.
Yes, he is, Jacob. And yes, he is. And I said hi to him today, by the way.
Shut up, Joe. We got somebody who thinks Watson and Dubs are barely even going to play this season.
That's a lie. I disagree with that. You know, they wouldn't be throwing him to the fire, at least Dobbs right now, if they didn't have every intention of making him a part of this offense. Like, I mean,
I don't think he starts. I'm trying to think. I don't think he's a starting receiver at the beginning.
So who do you have? You got obviously Lazard and Cobb in the slot, and who else?
Probably Watson.
Yeah, I would say right. Yeah, I would say
he's their top pick. They're gonna run him out there.
Well, I thought I said Watkins. My bad.
Oh, sorry.
I thought it'd be Watkins.
One.
Yeah,
either one.
I think they ease Watson in a little bit, to be honest.
Yeah, I mean, I think Watkins makes the veteran realistic sense. I just don't think. I'm trying to think when the last time the Packers ran out a rookie wide receiver as a starting wide receiver in a game.
Was it Greg Jennings?
Probably.
It wasn't Jordy Nelson?
Nope.
And it wasn't James Jones?
Nope.
So it's probably Greg Jennings.
Probably.
Okay.
So it's been a good 17 years since the Packers have run out a rookie wide receiver as a starter.
Well, hey, it's been longer since they drafted one in the first round. See, hey, I'm on a good one today, man. I'm telling you,
like, oh my gosh,
I'm on a good one right now. I'm in a good
Packers
mood.
Chiefs, Joe. What do we got? What are we thinking?
I think we're gonna see.
That'd be dangerous considering what Joe was talking about to me earlier.
And I'll tell everybody I'm considering an ayahuasca joint. Like, you know, I'm considering it. What's wrong with, you know, hey, becoming a better person? Like, come on, man. Like
become a better person your way into
the Chiefs
preseason week 3.
I think the defense plays the first 2 series. I don't think we see. I think maybe I would, you know, and I know the risk outweigh, you know, it's great risk. I don't want to see what happened last year, week 1 against the Saints with this offense. I think the offense needs to get on the field at least for a series, so to get some continuity. In all seriousness, and so maybe 2 series for the starters, 2 series for the defense, and then let it be the Jordan Love show for the rest of the game. I mean, get him as many snaps as possible. Get Watson as many snaps as possible. Dobbs as many snaps as possible. Tyler Davis, no snaps if possible. I mean, like, I really think that's what you need to do. And then they have to leave, you know, Tyler Davis behind wherever he is, or send him back to the Chiefs.
Yeah, I don't think. Unfortunately, I don't think Rodgers will play. I agree with your thinking. Who did they play week 1? They play Minnesota, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's not going to happen against Minnesota. I'm just going to say that flat out. The Packers are not going to fold like that against Minnesota.
They best not.
They're not. They're not going to fold like that week 1 against Minnesota. I am confident that they will be able to stay afloat and not do what they did against the Saints last year. But I am curious: is Patrick Mahomes going to play? Because I would like to see the defense actually get some work against Mahomes.
I would too.
I doubt it.
I mean, hey, he's got to get some work in with his new receiving core. He's got MVS. With his so personable self. I think that he would be ideal. For that secondary, for those guys to get after it a little bit, welcome him back a little. Have him get tagged a little bit by his former teammates. But overall, I do think that, I would hope that Mahomes plays, but, I kind of tend to lean your way as well. I don't think that he's going to.
Did you see what Sammy Watkins said about Rodgers versus Mahomes?
Did he say, like, I seen something because I was in a meeting. It was something like Rodgers is light years better than him or something like that.
He said Pat is incredibly good, but Aaron Rodgers is on a whole nother level.
No doubt.
I mean, that's great and all, but Devontae Adams also called Derek Carr a Hall of Fame quarterback when he got to Vegas.
Okay,
I'm not really
stop.
going to trust wide receivers
stop
move
Look,
to new teams anymore.
Let's use context with that.
Let's use that.
I was in the press conference. Let's use context with that. They literally.
I know the kind of Joe. I know the context.
Like it wasn't
just
even.
Still, you don't say that. You don't compare Aaron Rodgers to Derek Carr. You don't.
He got asked a question. He gave an answer that he said, it's apples to oranges, and I know I'm going to get in trouble no matter what I say when it comes to this. So and he used the example that they throw different balls. Carr's ball comes out of his hand harder, and it's and with more zip because that's what he feels he has to do, where Rodgers is more of a flick. But Rodgers' arm strength is more than Carr's because he can make throws that Carr can make, but he struggles to make. And that he could throw a ball from one hash to the other and on a dime and on a line, and it's easy to catch. And he uses more of his core, and that they're both great quarterbacks. And if Carr continues to do well, and they do what they're supposed to, his career trajectory will be a Hall of Famer. I don't like defending Derek Carr, but I'm defending Devontae Adams, damn it. And
that's fair.
I mean, and I tend to agree. Look, I had NFL people tell me Aaron Rodgers is the most talented quarterback that they have ever seen and that has ever touched the field, from arm strength to IQ to accuracy to mobility, just the complete package. Like, of course he's going to be light years ahead of Pat Mahomes, who struggles with cover two. He struggles with cover two. Like, come on. Like he can make, he's got ungodly arm strength. But damn, like, let's be real about it. Like, he's still growing and getting better. Patrick Mahomes is this generation's Brett Favre. Bottom line.
Wow.
Gunslinger. Crazy, he'll throw picks and whatever. Why do you think him and Reed mesh so well? Reed was there with Favre.
True.
Like football doesn't reinvent itself. There's not like, you have Michael Vick. He may be the one outlier at quarterback where you're like, holy shit. Other than that, like, there's like really like Tom Brady, Joe Montana, same type of quarterback. Accurate, whatever. You have, Rodgers is just different. Rodgers is different than all of them. Favre, Mahomes. It's what it is. Maybe Josh Allen is another outlier, but could he be, dare say, a better Dante Culpepper? There's still, you can find similarities with any player. So, like, yeah, I mean, of course, Watkins is going to, and he's on the team, of course he's going to say that. If he didn't say that, he would be kind of, like, what are you doing?
Right.
Like, you got to talk about your quarterback here, not the quarterback that you left. So, yeah, man.
We'll have plenty of quarterbacks to talk about this year, Joe. But I believe we are out of time.
Oh man, I got a fumble of the week though.
Real quick, Fumble of the week, Joe. Go.
The NFL Pro Football Hall of Fame. How the hell does Sterling Sharp not get in? Again. And Bruce for not being here.
Yes. Immaculate Perceptions. MJ and Joe every week. Tuesday. Sometime, probably going to be 8:30 for the foreseeable future. It's been a pleasure, ladies and gentlemen. Make sure to follow MJ and Joe, and I guess Bruce probably on social media, on Twitter. Make sure to follow Game On Wisconsin for all of your Packers updates and everything going on there. We'll be back next Tuesday. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for watching. We'll see you later.